Alrighty, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, we got a big fight coming up here. Johnny Bedford taking on Felony, Charles Bennett. It goes at BKFC 9, Lobov versus Night 2. Going to be a great event, which people can check out via Fight TV. It's going in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I actually have a bit of time with Johnny Bedford today to talk about that fight. How's it going there, man?
It's going well. Thank you very much for taking the time to have me on. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, 7 days away, so here we go.
Yeah, some great stuff, man. And on the heels of, quite the performance against Reggie Barnett and everything like that, how good does it feel to, have a bit of hardware? You got a little something draped over each shoulder from what I can tell there.
Yeah, the story may get a little longer probably than the question was asked, but yes, it feels great to have two belts in my possession at this time, two belts that I think are going to be in my possession for a long time. But bare knuckle fighting came at a really cool time and a really I think I'm kind of made for this sport. It came out and here we are. I bare knuckle one happened in June of 2018 and I wanted to be a part of it and put on a good performance. Talked the boss man into making a tournament for our weight class and fast forward a year and a half later and here I am world champ. So it's couldn't have went better. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the growth of the sport. And here we are, obviously, making my fifth appearance now in 7 days.
Yeah, and it's an interesting confluence in a sense because with, you holding the BKFC title, obviously that's like the new sort of like hot brand everybody's, been talking about and all that. But also the Police Gazette belt has like such a steeped lineage and has been around for so long. So how much does it mean to you on that end to be, having those belts that carry that kind of, I guess, significance or I guess perception attached to them?
It's amazing, right? And now I know, and I'm thankful of it, obviously. I know more about the Police Gazette belt now than I probably ever would have. And it's a true honor. I mean, that was the true world championship 130 years ago. Obviously, gloves became a thing, and the world title got put away. And when BKFC became a real thing and a real sport again, Scott Burt with the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame brought these belts back out, and here we are. Not only did I get to win the world title for the promotion, but I got to now put my name in the history books forever. That it's had such a gap that there hasn't been a champ in how long, and here I am now, bringing that all back to light and showing the world the history of combat sports and showing the history of why bare knuckles here to stay. It shows, it allows me it opens up conversations about why gloves were invented, and it allows open up conversations about how I believe bare knuckles the safer sport. But yeah, the history of the Police Gazette is amazing. Scott Burt's doing an awesome job up there in New York with the Hall of Fame. Super honored to just be part of history with it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I imagine that's a great feeling. But I've noticed like MMA fighters seem to transition in a general sense pretty seamlessly into the BKFC rule set. Like it seems like the clinch position is something that you really sort of see that in. Why is it that you think MMA fighters in a general sense transition so seamlessly over into BKFC?
Great question. And I think it's just because there's more of us right now. I don't believe that the MMA fighters are necessarily better yet. I think we just have more MMA guys coming into sport. I think we're a little crazier. I think that's part of it. We're cut from a little different cloth. Not that boxers are they're obviously they're athletes. They're maniacs. They're tough guys too. What they do is crazy. I just think MMA guys are behind it more right now. But yeah, like you said, the smaller gloves that we're used to being able to grab and punch that we're used to, it obviously all plays into it. And yeah, I think the mentality of the sport. Boxers have been told you can't grab my head and punch me for their whole lives. Where we've been doing that our whole lives. So, you tell me I'm going to fight a boxer, I'm going to grab on his head, turn him around, and beat him up a little bit. I'm going to get dirty in the clinches, and that's now legal in the sport.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the headlines I was noticing ahead of BKFC 6, you were saying Reggie Barnett can't finish a sandwich. But as you get in a fight here, I mean, you're fighting a guy who's pretty notorious for being a high octane, unrelenting action type of fighter. What are your thoughts on the matchup with Felony Charles Bennett? Do you think you're going to get the kind of matchup you're, sort of looking for on that and like someone who's really going for the kill, so to say?
That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what Bare Knuckles hoping for, and that's what I think the fans are hoping for. Um, this fight game's been weird because a lot of the media that at least that I've seen is kind of counting him out, and I'm like, not that the opinions of others matter, but you want to use some certain things for motivation. And I'm the one taking the risk here. I'm the one moving up a weight class. I'm the one giving him a chance to make his name relevant again. I am the way bigger name now in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, but I was adamant about staying busy. So here I am moving up a weight class, taking on a name opponent that, like you just said, he's supposed to be a banger, right? He's supposed to be high octane, and he wants to come forward. Well, I've fought 4 fights already, and I've stood in the middle of that ring the entire time. I hope he wants to do that. So yes, I hope the Charles Bennett that comes to mind. I hope that Charles Bennett shows up in 7 days.
I noticed he blocked you on social media, though. Why was that?
Because he's I don't know. I called him chicken shit the other day. I think I crush him verbally before the fight even started. I'm way smarter than him. I enjoy some and rumor has it it's because I called him Crazy Horse, and apparently he doesn't like that name anymore. But that's who he is to me, and that's who he's going to be called all week when I get to Biloxi. I don't know who this Felony guy is. I don't think Felony's won a fight, so he should probably go back to Crazy Horse. I have no idea. I think it's a chicken shit move. I would never block someone. If you got something to say, say it. We're gonna fight about it. What's the problem? But yeah, I can't tag him in anything. I can't see anything. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure, but I mean, you entertaining fights outside of your weight class seems to be a bit of a theme here. Like I noticed when you won the hardware your last time out, you had Artem Loeb on your radar. Like he's sort of next in the crosshairs there. Is that a fight you would like to see at some point in 2020 come to fruition for you?
Absolutely. I absolutely. I mean, I knew the problem with the situation I was going to be in after I won a title is that the sport's new and there's not a roster of guys fighting, developing a number 1 contender. I'm 36. I'm really good at this. I want to keep collecting checks and I want to stay busy. So I already knew that I was going to have to go to 145, and obviously going to 145, I want to chase the money fight. That's Artem Loeb. He gets the most eyeballs. You probably get. There's no probably you would get paid the most of anyone else on the roster right now. Artem Loeb is the money fight, and I'm 4-0. I'm the only guy in the promotion that can say that. Here I am going up to get a win in his division now, so I don't know what more I need to do to make myself there's no belt on the line, but the number 1 contender for the money fight. I was pushing for it. Obviously, that's the fight I wanted. I wanted a money fight, and the problem was when they matched up the rematch, business decision that I respect and understand. It took off, obviously, both big name opponents for me. Artem's off the table, but now so is the only other guy with a name in the division, and that's Jason Knight. So that's how we end up with Charles Bennett.
Yeah, and it seems like BKFC wants to put on some big cards in the first quarter of 2020, and it seems like specifically February is like a big card they're kind of looking at as like a tentpole sort of event, so to say. Is that kind of the next step after this one? Obviously not overlooking the immediate opponent you have, but would that be something you're targeting as like the next fight?
That's exactly. This will be BKFC 9. I want to fight at BKFC 10. I would love to. I fought at 1, 3, 5, and 6. Now 9. Let's make it 10. The good news is for me is I have the ability to now stay really active. I'm a two division active fighter. I'm chasing the money fight at 145, but I'm not going to not defend my belt at 135. There's guys on social media that are barking saying they're the number 1 contender. Well, line them up. 2020. I'll defend my belt. I'll go back. That can be my next fight, and then I'll go back for Artem. It's whatever the promotion wants to do. Whatever's going to make the most dollars for me. I've got kids to feed. I've had kids to put through college, is the real truth. And bare knuckle fighting championships has given me a resurgence in my career that's allowing me to now put money away to do things like that. And I'm trying to stay, as active as I can. 145 is fine, but the belt is going to stay around my waist at 135 for a long time.
Yeah, and you mentioned your kids in there. It seems like you draw a lot of inspiration from them. Like I saw the picture of the daddy-daughter dance there, and that looked real wholesome. But it seems like your son is out there for like some fights as well. At least like from like a spectator perspective, like you guys are out sort of watching the fights. Do any of your kids come to the BKFC events? Is that something you're kind of not down for? Like maybe call them after the fight, let them know dad's okay. Like how does that go? I guess.
I would. It just hasn't worked out that my son has been with me while I fight, and it's probably because I'm the one now fighting, worrying about everything that I can't really take him with me. I coach at a pretty high level. I've got a really great MMA team. We've got jiu-jitsu competitors, we've got boxing team, we've got everybody at my gym. So I'm very busy, actively coaching all the time, and because of that, my son is obviously has the ability to go with me and do those things. So we go to, if I'm going to the ocean or if I'm going wherever, it's like, hey, dude, you want to come with me for the weekend? And he does that. But no, and it wouldn't be out of against it. I'm not afraid of my kids to watch me bare knuckle fight. My son's been in my corner for MMA fights before, so I bled on him. He gets it. That's all he's ever known. We moved to Texas when he was 6 months old for me to then run a gym, and then 2.5 years later I opened my own, and that's all he's ever known is watching dad, fight people.
Yeah, I saw the picture at a Fitness Fight Factory there recently. You had Spider-Man against an Emoji there, and I'm kind of wondering who won between Hot Dog and Hermione. I'd be picking Hot Dog personally.
Dude, the hot dog definitely won the costume contest. I got the most comments about the hot dog. I had a small video of them all running to warm up. And that's probably one of honestly, my favorite traditions I do at my gym. I'm really proud of what we do at Fitness Fight Factory, but like after all the Halloween activities are all done and we know these costumes, because it's jiu-jitsu. They're going to grab their clothes or whatever. We wear them on a gi day. So we wear them a week after Halloween, but we get to do that fun stuff and dress up. And when else do you get to watch, Spider-Man versus Batman or whatever? We had Hermione there and a hot dog. My son, who's kind of getting too cool for school, he's 13 now, so he didn't have a costume this year. So he ends up wearing his uncle's. He was a banana. He probably stole the show. The banana was a great costume. But yeah, we do that every year after Halloween, and it's just. We're doing cool things in my gym, and I've got an amazing kids program. I've got really good competitors in that kids program. I've got really great kids. I've had kids change their life around, come in for bully issues or whatever else, and it's just changed their life. And I'm just very fortunate that I get to, share my passion on a daily basis to make a living.
Yeah, it seems like something you're really, passionate about and focused on for sure, but you've been really great with your time, man. I'm curious if there's anything you'd like to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here, though.
No, just thank you for your time. Thank you, anyone who's listening. If you're not on the BKFC bandwagon, there's still room. Jump on now. This sport's the next big thing. David Feldman's done a great job. He busted his ass just to get this thing legal, and here we are, 18 months later, maybe less, and we're 9 events in on pay-per-view. We're making waves. So I'm thankful for BKFC. I'm thankful for people like you to allow me to, have this platform. I'm thankful for anyone that tunes in and watches. If you haven't watched, 7 days away, I'm going to put on an exciting fight. I promise it's worth every dollar you spend.
It's going to be a great card. BKFC 9. It is going on November 16th. It is at Mississippi Coast Convention Center in Biloxi, Mississippi, but it's also broadcasting on Fight TV, so people can check it out there. Johnny Bedford taking on Felony Charles Bennett in a very intriguing fight for my money, and really just appreciate having Johnny Bedford on the show to give some insights. Thanks for all the time, man, and have a good rest of your day, too.
You as well. Thank you, man. Have a good day.